Everybody, another episode from resident DJ Slaydem. I'm sticking with the therapy and research, mate. What is life about? Life is an adventure, mate. Life is a one-shot deal, mate. So it's supposed to make sense, but it doesn't make sense. That was the old world of racism, segregation, apartheid that separated people. But now people are unified, mate. Everyone's got problems, bro. Old people are vulnerable. The weak are being hunted, mate. I guess these things are possible, mate. Right under your nose is the monster. So you've got to stick with research, mate. You can't blame the government. The government is been held hostage by criminals, mate. But I guess everybody's a criminal, mate. There's no rules in life, mate. Because now you're dedicated now, mate. But there's nothing better than fresh oxygen, mate. Nothing better than clean grass and oxygen and living in a beautiful place, mate. You can't blame anybody if you answer to the higher power. The higher power is somebody who controls your life. Somebody who controls everybody's life, who's capable of flooding the world, capable of conning the government, Criminals have access to trillions of dollars, mate. But there's no better weapon than your own weapon. So you've got to think with therapy, mate, with research. You just have to use your imagination. Because with your mind is a computer. So who's got experience? You answer to the person who's got experience. A person that's a million times better than some beggar or thief, mate. Now you've got to be reasonable with yourself. You've got to be logical, mate. You've got to take a break. Because life is a job. You've got to be disciplined, mate. An army of rabbits can outsmart an army of crocodiles, mate. What is Lion King? Lion King is an experiment, right? So you get what you pay your money for. If you're trying to change the world, you've got to spend billions of dollars. If you can't change the slums of Nigeria or the slums of India, it's like a business, you know what I mean? But there's nothing better than oxygen. There's nothing better than your own medicine. If the doctor says there's no problem, don't argue because you've got no experience. Because you live in a world where somebody's got power over the police. That was the old world. Obviously, horrible things happened. You've got to be realistic, mate. You've got to take a break. You can't try to police the world by yourself. You're not DJ Slaydem. You're not Iron Man. That's the job of a frontline soldier. So you've got to come to a place where you got some sort of balance, so you can meet every opponent. So if you're not an experienced gangster or somebody in the government, don't argue with somebody. Use that person. Let that person get into trouble. Now you live in the modern world. There's 500,000 police around the world. They'll catch that person. Because you got to look at the severe situation. There's serial killers. Every single park has some sort of suicide. Every single park in the world has something dodgy. You live in a world with a secret society that could be hidden right under your nose. You got to be realistic, mate. That's the thing why people say, how comes you successful? How comes people are attracted to you? Because I'm trying to be realistic. I'm not trying to be like the park here. These white people, these white people, the white stuff. If you avoid the white people, you've made a mistake. Because the biggest mistake of the white man is himself. The white people, they fantasizing about these zombies. They fantasizing about these vampires, the exorcist. They fantasizing, they worshiping the devil. The devil is powerful, mate, but I guess in life, it could be right under your nose. Right under your nose could be a monster, mate. Because it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to. Any nonsense sounds good, The person doesn't understand. If you in trouble, right? You don't need to be too sophisticated. In a business, anything, you do your job. You don't do extra. You do what you paid for. If somebody's paying you $2, you do $2. But if somebody's paying you $1 billion, then obviously if somebody's got $70 billion, it can't be one person. So okay, it's a possibility of aliens. It's a possibility, you got to accept it. But what you got to do is get some oxygen. Get a bit of self-time, mate, because you're born in this world by yourself. You go out by yourself. Don't argue with somebody who can flood the world. Now we're dealing with something that people have been dreaming about, since they're young. And if somebody's older than you, you don't argue with somebody why they're going angry. There's a billion reasons to stay alive. You only need one reason to be suicidal. There's a billion reasons for somebody to do something. TikTok's philosophy is too stupid. It's too foolish. Look at the world you live in now. There's so many people that are hooked on drugs. Now you arguing with somebody, it's normal to do drugs. It's not normal to hurt someone. If you look on the internet, you feel sorry for people because there's so much stuff on the internet that they're not listening. I think this thing could be right under the nose of the government. But because they malnourished, mate, they're not paid enough money. They need a vacation. And you need to follow somebody that's able to maneuver the environment, right? Because the environment is like a military campaign. You got to scout, you got to stay awake, you got to be alert. Because every time you turn your back, thousands of people are going missing. So this is an episode for everybody, even the monster. The monster is easy to outsmart, but you got to understand there's always a monster. There's always something that's worse. The way you beat a psychopath, you tell him straight, I got one life. In this life, he can't kill you twice. They can't kill you twice, you know what I mean? So you got to look at it like, why should you do your job? Police are obligated, it's their job. Gangsters are obligated, it's just a job. So if it's a job, then obviously it's a boss every day. But I guess life is a job. You've got to do overtime. You got to take a break. You got to treat life. Doing this sort of thing is for a billionaire. It's not for somebody part and parcel of a mortgage, which means if you got a middle class life, you can't do something like this. It's for a rich African, a billionaire, somebody with access to government funds, somebody that wants to hurt people or something. Well, it will eventually be trapped by the circumstance of life. I think it's a natural circumstance. Hello, how are you? So yeah, I guess this is an episode for everybody, young and old, women, gay, prisoners. Life, you've got to be magnificent now. You've got to be fascinated with every blade of grass. You've got to be, every breath of oxygen has got to be like a nuclear explosion. Every orgasm has to be good. Because if you're good at sex, then it'll spread like a virus. You can never stop a woman. You can't stop a grown man. You can't stop the government, bro. The government is too difficult to fight by yourself. You've got to be strategized, mate. And if you're trying to stop everything, it's easily able to defeat the universe. But why would you want to? Why would you want to? You got to teach children, bro. You got to teach the community. You got to teach people, because that's life of a gangster. That's mandatory. That's standard for biker gangs. Because if somebody's going after peanuts, are they peanuts? You know what I mean? But peanuts is a good example, because peanuts is magnificent. If you're working with $200, of course it's a lot of money, but you can do a lot with your paycheck. You can go to pubs, you can go to the beach. You got 24 hours. Master P is not a bad person. It's just that was the old world. But okay, now you're dedicated now. So now you've got a one-shot deal now. Now you can talk about anything, as long as it's sensible. So why would you want to make sense? That means you're thinking about your future, right? Because you're my age. So maybe they want a different opportunity. So now you got to spread yourself wisely. The greatest empires, Napoleon, pharaohs, Romans, governments, Vietnamese war, the recently has spread themselves too thin, which means their supply line is blocked off. How many people have tried to take over Aotearoa? They say in Portuguese, they say in the English. The Maoris themselves are immigrants. Everybody's an immigrant here. That's what you got to understand. You got to remember in your mind. This person can't remember how many people is affected. Now that's a problem. When you can't remember how many people you're killing, thousands of police have died. You got to do research, bro. It's like a job life. Some people are gangsters, some people are soldiers, some people are built for it, some people are not. Life is more complicated, it's more sophisticated. The world has flooded millions of times. But that's the greatest threat now. Now you're thinking now you've got a middle class life. Now you don't have access to any friends. You can't get $10. Now you need to patrol your life. Now you need to be awake. But in order to be awake, there's nothing better than oxygen. There's nothing better than grass. There's nothing better than taking a walk in the park. Don't lose your freedom. I'm telling you, that's the life of a trillionaire. Because, you know, birds can fly. Look at the sky today. He's going to say it's not man-made. That means it's a massive spread. Somebody's spending billions of dollars to stop our life. But what he doesn't understand is there's nothing better than oxygen. So it's not so original. Because if you look at the sky, right, that's the reflection of the ocean. That's why it's blue. So the planet is one big booty waiting to be fucked. And you can't prohibit somebody on YouTube. You can't tell somebody, if you're a gangster, you've started hurting people, but it's too late once you hurt someone. You can't go back in that world. It's a one-shot deal. That's what the park here don't understand. You know, they're trying to go after Africans. They don't understand there's billions of Africans now. If you've got somebody on Facebook, you know, some of these Africans are stupid. You got the ultimate weapon, mate. Marriage, babies, can destroy the universe. And if you copy a weapon of Jamaica also, an experiment, mate, and you copy the immune system can crush the whole universe. Because if they were advanced, you'd be dead already. So what are you worried about? Now you've got somebody demoralizing the police, demoralizing Maori people. That means you're breaking their will to survive, which is good, because now you need to be realistic. Because now you know this person is just going to flood the world. So it can't be one person. So that means everybody's happy. But now you're dedicated now. Now you got a capability of changing your life. Or you've got the capability of changing the world. So you work with your peanuts. You work with what you have. You got to find a reason to wake up. You can't try to copy DJ slaydem. DJ slaydem is trying to be a billionaire. If you want to change your life, the first thing you need to do is take a step back. Just look around at what you have, and then make sure you're not blind. Make sure that there's not a million Chinese soldiers in your country. Make sure that somebody's not copying technology. Imagine the greatest fear of the world is already upon you. The world is just going to be flooded, right? So what's the point of trying to worry about it? Okay, what's the point of having a wife and kids? Because now you're too old now. The person's probably happy now. Now you say, but what are you happy about? Not everybody's happy. So, okay, you want to live. But why would you want to live with a vampire, of all things? Because neurology is my job. So you can do it with your brain. So if you feel something is watching you, something is watching you. If you feel you're going to be ripped off, you're going to be ripped off. Because, okay, my parents are bad. But that's the problem. It's not a reality. It's not our house. Because I also use the house just for work. Because in a realistic situation, a mortgage is important. Because you're living in an artificial world. People are fake. You need to be realistic, but you need to do something for everybody. So let's say you're in prison or something. You got access to a phone. You've got to do something for everyone. Don't get involved in this gangster stuff. Gangsters, they only die in prison. Gangsters, leave the gangsters. They'll learn. The police will catch them. They'll end up in prison or they end up dead. Because gangs fight. And now if it's not your friend, then you don't need friends. Because there's no better friend than yourself. There's no better medicine than your own medicine. There's no better technology than your own. Because, you know, the person wants to go to the gym. He doesn't understand there's something watching people. Because, you know, the world is beautiful, right? But it's not so beautiful. It's not so original. Because think about it. You've got everything that the universe wants. You've got food, water, milk, no technology. And now you're living with circumstances that somebody's got the ultimate power. He's got power over our lives. So we say, I've only got one life. So in this life, some people don't want to hurt people. How many Africans hurt Africans? How many white people are shitting on women? How many white people are bad? There's nothing like freedom for criminals, mate. You can't blame the government. The government has got all the resources we need. Everybody needs a break. That's what I'm saying. This is not a vacation. It's like a business trip. Obviously, it's a lot of money. But if the person is going to refuse, then afterwards, you deal with it. Because now you got a final leg of a demented person who could be perished in this flood. Which they don't understand. There's nothing better than oxygen. There's nothing better than somebody else's bullshit. There's nothing better than somebody else's philosophy. Because you can talk about it. You can have all the qualifications, but you can't explain life in 40 minutes. Life is amazing. Okay, the person thinks he understands life. So push that person aside. Cut off the whole city. That's what the future is doing in South Africa. South Africa has decided cut off the city. There's a new brain in Africa. Instead of trying to deal with the problem now, come back when you're realistic, mate. Because obviously, you're living in a situation where every park is dangerous. Every bus is dangerous. Every episode is a danger. And that's what they need to learn. In life, you're dedicated. So you can't plug in your phone now because now you need to be realistic now. You can't depend on the government. The government is useless. You can't depend. You've got no friends. Your parents are your enemies. Your neighbors are not your family. They're not your friends. Life is a job. So this is like a job, right? You want to change the world? You got to put your muscle in. You got to get some oxygen, mate. There's nothing better to cure all diseases than oxygen, fresh water, fresh groceries. You want to talk with a microphone, but I'm naturally a leader. Because both my parents are geniuses, but they're not so clever because you're dealing with the government. The government, you can beat them. You can beat the whole world. The universe is full of humans, aliens that if they were powerful, probably realize the immune system is too important. Of course, it will knock you down. But even worse, mate, somebody's trying to hurt somebody. Somebody's trying to hurt somebody for something that doesn't exist. If it existed, you don't give up your freedom. Don't ever give up your freedom to walk in the park. Don't listen to my uncle. Don't listen to anybody. Because you don't trust anything anyway. And the only person you trust is somebody who's not going to rob you while you're sleeping. Because if someone's going to kill you for peanuts, then it's a matter of time before, because the police will always watch you. You see, the government is like a relationship with a girl. You got to treat your girlfriend nice, bro. You don't treat your girlfriend bad. Otherwise, something horrible will happen. Now you got somebody that doesn't understand. If you're sleeping with a girl, nobody will sleep with her. Because if you got an African, they'll say, but that's everywhere. It's an African world. How can you blame somebody for something in high school? It doesn't make sense. That's the problem with the white person. Now you're living in the future. You're living in DJ Slaydem's world. How many ugly men have beautiful women? How many beautiful women don't even have a boyfriend? Because the government listens to one person, but they can't accept it. The government is too high up. They're not down here in the park, in the trenches with the soldiers. You in the trenches is amazing. So what if you're not a rich person? So what if you don't have a nice house? Because those things are fake anyway. There's nothing better than fresh oxygen. Sometimes the most beautiful food comes from hygiene, because cleanliness is next to godliness. There's nothing better than a disciplined army. Even if it's an army of ants, can turn a world upside down. How many people in the world today have problems? How many people do drugs? Drugs is fantastic. I said don't stop. By all means, bro, just keep the money, but don't stop the oxygen. Don't stop the groceries. Don't stop the water. Don't stop the electricity, mate. Don't try to do India stuff, because obviously somehow you're connected. So there must be a nice part anyway. So why the person is probably attacking Lion King is not my problem. That happens all over the headhunters. All over Nigeria, people got the same problem. Anyway, who cares about a house? It's not my house. I'm happy he done that, because now I got some oxygen. Now I can make episodes. I can do my job. Now I can help my friends. Now I can do brain surgery. Now I can work with neuroscience. Now now you're in the park, mate. You're taking advantage of the big things. The small things are so important, bro. You'll never understand how beautiful the world is if you don't even notice the fresh oxygen. You don't even notice the freedom to talk nonsense. You take away the freedom right now, you can imagine what the world is doing. If it's in your mind, it's somewhere in the world. But if you feel like the thing is closer, then don't do it. Then you're not living in a safe place. Because I just use the house for a job. I just use it for work, like everybody else. That's what they don't notice. That's what's wrong with my parents. They got everything that's important in their house, but they don't realize if you moved out of there in the first place, then it wouldn't have happened. But just lucky to God, mate. How many people are underwater? How many people? This person likes seeing blood. He likes hurting people. But poof, it rewinds. It starts again. Because, okay, the person has his own philosophy. But if you read the Bible, God is merciful, but he's also vengeful, mate. God has the power to destroy the world, because the greatest thief is God. He can steal your life. He can steal all your happiness, you know what I mean? But God is just a humble white man that's a young person, mate. And if the world is a woman, treat her with respect. Because it's not disrespectful, mate. Okay, it sounds bad, but you treat the world with respect, mate. You treat the water with respect. Don't listen to these coconuts and Maoris. You respect the water, mate, because they know nothing about sharks. A shark can smell that you're not a king. A shark can smell you're a problem. You respect the park. You respect police. You respect gangsters. Because gangsters kill each other. Gangsters fight, mate. If you've got no respect for your parents, they'll never love you. All you need to do is just show any sign of respect and can make all the difference in the battle. That's what they don't understand. He's going to say, how did you do 6 months in Afghanistan? That was a long time ago. Now we're talking in the modern world. The modern world, mate, the carpet bomb everybody. Now, you're talking now with the carbon weapons, mate, bulletproof and stuff. They say, that now is something else. You're talking now, children are naughty, mate. Children are a problem, mate. That's what I'm saying. I've got children, don't worry. My children are all right. Now you can try to deal with the problem. But I guess it's not important. But it's good to teach children, mate, because children want to learn. Old people want to learn. The government wants to learn. It's an agreement, mate. You can't make money out of somebody because the person is, you know what he's doing it for? To pay off his mortgage. I'll say my mortgage is paid off. This will pay everybody's mortgage off. Because a mortgage is important. If you don't have a mortgage, then you're one of these people that lives in the shadow. Now, from the shadow only comes slavery. From the shadow, of course, you're trying to interfere with a hierarchy. Means that you become a liability. Now you're in trouble, mate. This is what I mean. Now, for the rest of your life, they're after you. That's all I'm saying. Because now, for the rest of your life, you're in danger of the government, biker gangs, vampires, all these things that you're not putting into account. You have to remember everything. Because if you can't even remember that you've hurt your own friend, you're not supposed to hurt your own family. You're supposed to look after the community. But if the community is now in danger, then obviously now the person sees the community as the problem. The person sees people as the problem. But when are people not the problem? It's never over. Even if you go to the park, you can die. Even the park is not safe in this country. It's always avoiding the monster. But the monster is upon you. The monster's on top of you. The monster's now touching you at night. The monster's in the park. There could be something in the park. You'll say, where would somebody hide? In the park, where will homeless people live? I mean, there's so many homeless people in this country. There must be about 800,000 homeless people. But there's nothing better than talking nonsense, mate. Don't ever give up your freedom. Don't give up your freedom to rich people. If you don't help somebody, why should I help you? I have to help you, right? But if you're going to sleep and you're starting something different, then obviously the people will say, no, bro. Because there's no point in trying to attack people while they're sleeping. There's no point in trying to do something different. How many people want to break a barrier? A barrier is put in place from the ancient world for a reason. For a reason, they've put these invisible barriers. Now, you can't go back. Once you kill someone or you break a virgin, you can't go back. Once you're a dirty person, you can't clean yourself. You're not DJ slaydem. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Any business, right, needs to be clean. If you don't respect the park, right, the park won't respect you. If you don't respect the water will kill you, mate. If you don't respect the modern world will chew you up. The world is a big bad world, mate. Even going to the park, you can find a beautiful girl. Going to the park, you can find the biggest biker gangs in the world. You're a million times better than those people, so obviously you're willing to listen. That makes all the difference to a lot of people. If you just listen to the sound, how nice the world is, just how nice fresh oxygen is. And then, of course, now the person's not giving you access to a hospital. He's trying to do something. Now millions of people are watching people. But they don't realize just how nice the world is. They don't realize how people don't take responsibility. Because you're doing one thing. I'm doing a million things every day. Life, you're supposed to do everything you can. You learn from people, mate. You can learn a lot from homeless people. But you can't learn something from a bum. You can't learn something from a useless person that's got no ambition. You can't learn anything from somebody that doesn't even have a super yacht. You can't learn something from somebody who doesn't even have a motorbike. Cannot teach somebody that's teaching the world. You're teaching people a lesson, mate. It's time to teach everyone a lesson. You can't learn something from somebody that's got no ambition. You can't learn something in this modern world from somebody that's homeless. All you're learning is nonsense. But I guess it's a lesson for everybody. Because now people are blind. But that's what they'll do, mate. They can blind you. They can make you deaf. There's so many of them. They've got numbers. They've got money. And their philosophy of life, nobody's special. Then you've lost because you don't enjoy your birthday. You don't treat your girlfriend nice. You don't treat yourself nice. That's now when you've lost. Because the greatest empire is based on one person, right? Because the ancient world had clean oxygen, had rules. You can't go for the vulnerable stuff. Water, food, hospital, sleep is also a gangster. A gangster understands you don't go for those things. Imagine now a gang fight. Now a gang fight with no mercy now. Now you can't run away. Now the person's got no rules. Now how will you even respect somebody that's a small little fish? Is not enough for everybody. But what I'm trying to say is you're right. I'm listening to what you're saying. It's supposed to make sense, but obviously something horrible is going on. But what I think is they don't want to get involved for a good reason, because they've been living like that for millions of years. Why would you want to live for eternity, right? If something exists like a monster, right? Because now you're dedicated now. So they've been living like that for millions of years. But we in the modern world, we only living like this for thousands of years. But the modern world doesn't seem original. Why would you worry about something so foolish anyway? Because you know you're in danger, right? But there's nothing better than sunlight. There's nothing better than a woman's body. There's nothing better than groceries. Because if you lose the essential stuff, then you've lost yourself, mate. And everything that you're standing for is now opportunity for even darker times. It's never over. The universe is endless. The universe is endless. There's no wall between us and the enemy. There's no barrier between us and there's no rules. You just got to do something for everybody, because one day there's going to be an even worse monster, and then they're going to look for help. You can't call the cops, because you're calling the cops like it's Popeye's chicken. You're calling the cops, you're wasting them. They're not Popeye's chicken. You're looking for super yacht businesses, but they're all gone. You're looking for the white man don't want. You're looking for the Africans don't want, and they don't understand. If you're taking advantage of somebody and now you're out of commission now and you're not even getting oxygen, it's a hybrid nature for alien invasion. But aliens don't want to invade because there's something worse in this planet. Water can't disappear. Now you can imagine a catastrophe like that, which means the person thinks he's a magnet. You're a magnet until the money runs out. You're a magnet until the good times are over. Now you want to destroy some other people's lives. But what I'm saying is there's nothing better than somebody else's nonsense. Because now it's speech therapy, you know what I mean? Now you're learning English, you're learning about nature, you're learning about exercise, how oxygen can cure all diseases. All you need to do is just take a nice walk to the park, stretch your legs, get out of the house. Will make all the difference for everybody. Because they'll say, what's your strategy? My strategy is because I got experience. I'm an old person, I'm not young. Oxygen is so important because it's not so original. Because the thing of the life, you got to do as much as you can. You don't focus on one subject, but you're allowed. But don't be greedy. Don't be greedy in life. You got to leave something for other people. That's what they think. They think, hey, this guy is greedy. But I'm not greedy. I'm not even fat. I'm not even ugly. The problem is you got too many greedy people. So if you want to make an episode, you can make an episode anyway. But it doesn't mean that it's not my job. The thing is, you want to be good looking, but it's ugly. You want to be a bad person, but not now. There's nothing better than oxygen. There's nothing better than water. There's nothing better than somebody else's philosophy, except somebody that is defeated. If somebody's beaten, then obviously they need a bit of a break. Then obviously you need a vacation, because you first need to assess the situation. You need to plan, you need to strategize, then execute. Because maybe, mate, there could be some sort of giant lizard in the park. You know, they're saying council is doing their job. Now imagine we're living with an overgrown lizard. Now imagine now we got even worse, mate. Eh? Something has escaped from the zoo. Or something has escaped from a container ship that they're not telling the government. I think this thing is an escaped experiment. Somehow it came on a container ship from maybe criminals. I think this thing could have escaped from somebody's house, because now it's spreading, it's finally bitten everybody. Now they're probably saying, what was that, a spider? I'm saying that's not a spider. Whatever that was doesn't make sense, because it's not my house. You are my enemy. But even if you're my enemy, I have to help you. Because if I don't help you, then obviously this thing is going to spread around the world. So it does make sense, but it doesn't. It's almost like we're blind. But I mean, if you're not blind, then you could be in the park. But I mean, how many places could you hide in this stupid world? This world is now failing society. But there's nothing better than oxygen. There's nothing better than somebody else's nonsense. Because now you got to be disciplined, you know what I mean? But yeah, I guess the person could be demented, but the worms could be eating his brain, mate. You know, people are not like DJ Slaydem. Cleanliness is next to godliness. You have to worry about your friends. If you don't worry about your friends, then you'll have no friends. You can be trapped for eternity. Oh, well, that's perfect. Why would you want to be with people like that anyway? Somebody who's got no respect for Maori people, he's got no respect for his parents, he's got no respect for women. So why would you want to be with somebody who's going to rob you? You know what I mean? You don't want to be robbed for eternity. You want to enjoy the adventure of life. You want to talk nonsense. You want to get back into business. You want to enjoy the pubs. You want the jungle, mate. You want to be swinging like a monkey. You want to be at the beach all day. You want to be fishing. You want to do what you want. You want somebody else's nonsense. You want somebody else to pay for this. You don't want to pay for this nonsense. This nonsense is for DJ Slaydem. One episode can pay for everybody's mortgages, but you can't pay if somebody is going to flood the world. Then you have to teach children. You have to teach everybody, you know, because every park is an opportunity, right? So obviously, in every park, there's some nonsense going on, man. Yeah, all around the world, mate. But oxygen is beautiful, mate. There's nothing better than going for a walk in the park. The simple things of life is simply to beat Napoleon, mate. Simple to beat the Russia war. The Russia war is simple to stop, mate. You've just got to get oxygen. And you've got to think simply. Don't be too sophisticated. Don't spend too much money. Money is no good, mate. You'd rather have drugs. Because it's no matter, mate, the person's going to flood the world, you know what I mean? In a matter of time, mate, the world, the nonsense is going to start again. Now you need to learn at the bitter end. You got to make an episode and stay at it. Because you've got episodes of Sons of Anarchy, episodes of Sopranos, episodes of pornography. I'll do this in the first place. I go to the park and talk nonsense, then waste my life. Why would I even want to lose my girlfriend or lose my parents? That doesn't even make sense. So you're supposed to make sense, but there's no rules in life. There's nothing better than jerking off. There's nothing better than Indians nonsense, but you want to test DJ Slaydem. That happens all around the world. People want to put me to the test. You know what I mean? You can't test DJ Slaydem. Nobody can do that now. Now I'm in peak performance, mate. I'm like Tyson Fury, mate. Got a body of a Lamborghini, mate. There's nothing better than New Zealand, mate. They got nowhere to run away. They'll check, what did you say? Say it's not over, mate. So they'll run to New Zealand. But I mean, the final minutes of the battle is when you exert all your energy. Because now you're in the final thing. So you got to keep it under an hour. Don't be too greedy. Don't be too fast. Pace yourself. Pace yourself, mate. Don't try to come up combinations like Bruce Lee, these Chinese. The simple way to beat is a simple combination. That's the delicacy of life. Because the closest cousin of the human flesh is pork. So it was a delicacy. So think about it. It's a delicacy, mate. Life is a delicacy that's spoiled, mate. You got one life. But there's nothing better than somebody else's nonsense. There's nothing better than switching the channel. There's nothing better than a naked woman. There's nothing better than a big floppy dick that's going to fuck the world, mate. But now's the final minutes, mate. Now you want to be like DJ Slaydem. Cleanliness is next to godliness. You want a good business, mate. You got to follow standards of decent standards. If you get involved in that TikTok nonsense, well, there's nothing better than cleaning the world. Because the world is a dirty place. It needs to get washed. There's only one way to do it, mate. Clean the world up, mate. Because read the Bible. The Bible says that you need to wash the cities of the blood and nonsense before you can clean up the world. You need to wash the city clean. So if you don't wash the world, then how can you tell a person that's better than you? Hi, how are you? That you're a mad person. When you're living in a mad world, right? There's nothing better than oxygen, mate. There's nothing better than time with your children. But there's nothing better than time with yourself. Because children still got time to grow up. Old people have lived life. There's nothing better than getting fresh oxygen, groceries, water, independence, or even the adventure of life. There's nothing better than talking your own nonsense. But now we'll see who's man from mouse. Just realizing the thing is over, mate. Obviously, New Zealand is a beautiful place, but all over the world, mate, it's impossible, mate. Something watching people is not so impossible. Looking at the reality, mate, possibly with criminals, first thing you'll do is take your eyesight away. Then you'll make you deaf. Now imagine a world that's blind and deaf. Well, then that's another episode, because now there's nothing better than oxygen. There's nothing better than clean grass. The world is all we have. If you can't understand, then I'd say possibly you're deaf. I'll say you're watching TikTok stuff. That guy looks like he's capable of filleting someone, mate. He looks like he's capable of bringing back cannibalism, mate. The way that guy's high on drugs. He thinks maybe somebody can't fly down the motorway and catch him, mate. Maybe he thinks he can escape the government. Only DJ slaydem can do that, mate. I don't know who he thinks he is. He thinks he's Superman or what he's trying to do, mate. Could be a world full of nonsense, but there's nothing better than oxygen. There's nothing better than walking to the park. There's nothing better than groceries. These things you take for granted, you don't understand. One day you will have none of these things. And now what you need to learn, the bitter end is when the most danger happens. And I'm talking from experience. I'm doing it for money. Decent money. Decent money is about 500,000. That's not decent money. $200, $400 not good money anywhere around the world. Anyway, the final stages of the episode is when the worst thing happens. Now you need to learn the last few minutes until you lock the door and you're inside the house and asleep is when you're safe. But there's nothing better than oxygen. There's nothing better than TikTok's nonsense. TikTok's nonsense will do all the hard work. It will do all the hard work for you. There's nothing better than sitting on your bum at work and eating lunch. There's nothing better than going to work, because I'm the boss. You don't tell the boss what to do. Now you're telling a boss of businesses what to do. I'll say there's nothing better than TikTok's nonsense, mate. It will break down all the businesses. It will remove all the competition. It will be the only person in the ring. There's nothing better than that nonsense. The whole universe will be destroyed, and you just come and survey and take over. That's the thing of Mongols. The greatest empires just come and scavenge from the bones and the remains. You still can find treasure. There's nothing better than your own bullshit, because your own bullshit is priceless. It could be 1,000,000 times better. The greatest victories and defeats of the people that destroy themselves. The world is going to destroy itself, and the vultures are going to pick the bones. Now that's what they don't understand. They think it's so original. Nothing's original now. You want to be original, mate? You got to hustle, mate. It's a job. Because there's nothing better than picking the flesh off a battlefield. There's nothing better than picking the bones off a human. Because, you know, what they don't understand is the greatest empires crumble from within. And from outside, they are surrounded. And there's nothing better than your own enemy, mate, coming behind with 800,000 people, mate. There's nothing better than a hyena war, mate. Can chill the bones, mate. Check, you got a right reason to be scared, mate. That thing's old. It's millions of years old. It's not so original. It's possible somebody's hurting people, but it could be a subliminal message that they don't want to listen to. Because maybe the person has an important message. You could be saying, hey, there's an army of zombies infesting the world. The army of darkness is growing. It's not listening to the subliminal message. And then one day it happens. And now you can't go back. But there's nothing better than groceries. There's nothing better than fresh water. There's nothing better than the world. The world is all you have. You work with what you got. You don't work with what you don't have. You can make fantastic art from prison. You can make the most amazing things, but you need to be a trillionaire to do this, or at least a billionaire. Don't try to take your job off and copy DJ slaydem, because to be successful means you need to be multi-talented. You got to be excellent now. You got an army of scavengers after people, mate. Somebody will pick the bones off a pig now, mate. Somebody's eating bones, mate. He's not even choking on fish bones. Well, there's nothing original than something like that. But oxygen is the best medicine, mate, is your own medicine. Don't get involved, mate. Sometimes you got to whip someone. Otherwise, you don't discipline somebody, mate. You don't want an undisciplined police force. You don't want an undisciplined world. Well, you can just see the world is full of nonsense. But there's nothing better than nonsense. Because nonsense is an opportunity for the stealth bomber. Nonsense is an opportunity for the scavengers now. So now you can see man from mouse. But there's nothing better than going to the park. You don't give up that freedom. Don't give up your freedom of the normal thing, mate. You always want to live with those people. Those people have been living like that for millions of years. So we come in thousands of years. We're just a child in this world. But there's nothing better than TikTok's nonsense. TikTok's nonsense is like a bulldozer, you know what I mean? To bash down every single business, you'll just come take over. That's mob style, mate. That's mafia move. That's organized crime, mate. There's nothing better than TikTok's nonsense. There's nothing better than TikTok's nonsense, mate. Chapati Manchin army, mate, is going to do all the hard work, mate. There's nothing better than that. But that's another episode, mate. Now we'll see man from mouse, mate. We'll see woman from man. The ultimate competition has begun, mate. The hyena war has started, mate. Now we'll see who's the champion, mate. But that's another episode, mate.